Hello, I'm Deborah Sword. Apologies are common in conflicts, but recently I was asked a variation of the questions that are usually whether and how to apologize. I was asked how to get someone to listen to an apology. Let's call the person who asked the question Chris. The question was how to get a friend to listen to an apology. Chris's friend had blocked contact, but Chris wanted an exception so the friend would hear the apology. So, yes, I defaulted to curiosity, taking my own advice. The Conflict Owner's Manual recommends staying curious in conflict. Please subscribe to our podcast so you know when we post more episodes about it. Chris explained it was important for closure that the friend hear the apology. I stayed curious and asked who closure was important to. Well, Chris said, it's important to me. That changed our focus from Chris's point of view to the goal Chris wanted to accomplish. Chris is beginning to own the conflict. Chris came for advice on how to get the friend to hear the apology. Instead, I stayed curious and asked Chris about the friend's request for no further contact. That started Chris taking the friend's perspective into account. The friend had made it clear an apology is not welcome because it includes contact with Chris. Since the goal is closure for Chris, closure can be met other ways, or rethink what the goal can achieve, or rethink what closure even means. So I asked Chris to describe closure and what was important about having it. The apology was for Chris's peace of mind and in hopes the friend would reconsider breaking off the friendship. Chris hadn't owned that part of the conflict yet. Still curious, I asked Chris's perspective of what had gone wrong in the friendship. Chris could guess, but wasn't really sure because the friend wouldn't say. Chris decided in the end to respect the friend's request for no contact. And if at some point the friend initiates contact, Chris can ask what harm had been done so the apology can be specific. There are two lessons about owning your conflict in Chris's dilemma. Lesson one, an apology isn't about you. An apology isn't an opportunity to convince the person to do what you want. An apology is about acknowledging harm you've done, even if it was done unintentionally. If the person doesn't want to hear from you, respect the boundary. Just like you own your conflict, you can own your closure to the relationship and reflect how to do conflict better in future. Chris owned the conflict by changing the goal to being at peace with a friend's decision and coming to closure a different way. Lesson two, an apology means understanding the mistake you're acknowledging. I've offended somebody without intending to and didn't know what I'd done wrong. So I asked the person, I think I said something like, I've hurt you, which wasn't my intention. Please help me understand because I'll apologize and try not to make that mistake again. So if you don't know what you did, ask the person, perhaps directly if it's safe, not their friend or their sibling. Then you can own the mistake and apologize for that specific harm. You'll own your conflict, your closure, your mistake. There are many expert articles about how to give an apology, and I encourage you to read them. The summary for apologies is admit your mistake, explain what and why it happened, confirm how you'll repair the damage, and show how you won't make the mistake again. The lessons from Chris's question show how taking that expert advice is easier when you've done the work that gets you ready to apologize. And that work is owning the conflict and the mistake and taking the perspective of the person who's hurt by your mistake. You're more conflict competent to follow the steps in apologizing that the expert suggests you take. Own your conflict, and you improve your conflict competence, and your relationships improve. Thank you for listening. I hope you'll subscribe to our podcast.